We're live.
Okay. We're going to begin with the committee of the whole agenda, July 21st, 2026. Call to order. Call the roll. No roll. No roll. Just roll. All right. Resolution 2627-12, resolution adopting the minutes from the last common council meeting. Any questions? Oh, here it comes.
There he is.
Jim.
Hi, Rick. You're right about to start your resolution for the interfund transfer of chips.
Which one?
I'm going to announce it now.
Number 13.
Resolution 2627-13, resolution authorizing interfund loans for the CHIPS program. Alderman Marcel.
That's Dan, right? Interfund loan for the internship program. Mike, this is the one where we're a little short, right?
No, this is, what this is a short-term interfund loan that we have, I think we did it last year too. The purpose is to just provide the upfront money.
Yeah, this is
While
for the
the
road
work's going on.
program. That we just upfront the money for the road program, that when we are reimbursed, when the check comes in, right, Louise?
Yep.
And then we put the check back into the general.
It's one of the higher interfund loans that we do, but the reimbursements come in pretty quickly, so the full amount is not outstanding,
Exactly.
for too long.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
Okay. Resolution. Twenty-six, 27-14, authorizing intermunicipal agreement with the town of Amsterdam for sewer service. Christopher.
The town of Amsterdam owns and operates a sanitary sewer system in the town, and this system is connected and discharges wastewater to the system owned and operated by the city. This is the IMA, the intermunicipal agreement is being entered into by the town of Amsterdam and the city of Amsterdam for sewer service between the city and the town. The agreement is not less than every 2 years. And Mike, if you have anything you want to add to that.
Yeah, sure. So,
I'll just chime in really quickly. It's a 10-year contract, subject to review every 2 years. It's an automatic renewal provision after the 10-year period. But one of the reforms, so to speak, is to have a 2-year review process built in to the IMA because there was no such review process that existed.
And I thought it was 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that changed on me because I thought it was 5.
Is the auto renew
Now,
for another 10 years?
Yes.
We said at 10, there'll be an auto renew if we don't.
Right.
address it. But we
but we
hopefully address it, yeah.
I think one of the reasons to have a 2-year review process is to gear up towards that 10-year expiration.
Michael?
yeah, so I mean, I would say to start that 2-year review process is a good thing because it's always going to be relatively fresh in our minds. The agreement that this one may supersede has been in force for 30-something years, a long time. And a lot's changed in 30-some years, and it really doesn't capture all of the different situations that exist currently. What the new one does, and yes, it addressed, number one, cost, right? The cost that the town will pay to the city, it's 1.5 times the city's rate. It addresses schedule, as our council just mentioned. It addresses maintenance issues, which have been a significant concern, a very gray area for many years to the city. like I was just starting to say, there's sewer districts in the town now. They do not capture all of the town users currently that are connected to the city sewer system. One of the things that this agreement does is establishes the requirement for the town to create a new sewer district to capture all of those directly connected town residents that are connected in the sewer but aren't in the sewer district. One of the reasons being in the sewer district is very important to us and to them is it establishes who's responsible for maintenance. And like I said, right now, the many people don't know that, whether they're in the town, and then many people in the city don't know that. It also cleans up billing, right? Everybody in the town will be billed by the city in the future. Currently, there are 30 or 40 directly connected that are billed by the city to the town. It's a cumbersome process at best. Another item that this agreement establishes, and it's a change from the previous one, the previous agreement that's existed for decades established a daily wastewater limit of 500,000 gallons per day. Sounds like a lot, it's not really a lot. They are approaching that limit, and with proposed development in the town, they would exceed that quite possibly this year. This proposed agreement before you establishes a daily limit of 750,000 gallons a day. And it addresses it specifically in the agreement that if they approach that we need to, we, the city, need to discuss with the town, and the town needs to discuss with the city the possibility of more. At that time, remember, this is a moving number. We're hopeful that there's going to be increased need for our wastewater from more residents, industry, more business in the city also. So it becomes a capacity issue, what's remaining. And that's another reason, for Corporation Council's point, for having a 2-year review process to discuss that.
Wastewater part of the 1.5 cost, is that included in the cost, is what you're saying, of that water, is then the wastewater treatment of it as well? Or
Yes.
where does the payment for the wastewater come in?
It's just the same as in the city, that all the water that goes down the drain for residents here, they're charged the annual flat rate, and that includes the collection, getting it to the plant, and then treating it. That also applies to the folks that are in the town of Amsterdam that send water to our system, to our plant.
They pay a
They're
fee,
paying 1.5 times
but it's a
of
1.5
our
time
rate.
of our fee.
Yeah.
Okay, and it encompasses all that, thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Mike, also, you want to mention the fact that overflows, when they exceed their,
Well, yeah, that is one of the items that we've dealt with in this is wet weather flow. The city has a combined sewer system. That means we have 3 combined sewer overflows that during extreme high water flows, where we're not just collecting sewage, but also stormwater. It can, under certain circumstances established by the Department of Environmental Conservation, be allowed to be released to the river. It does not happen much. We have a long-term control plan that we are mandated to have by DEC as well as the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency that says we will endeavor to reduce the number of combined sewer overflows we have annually. We have done that very well with our pump station upgrades, and we are taking the next and really the best step by increasing the wet weather capacity of our wastewater plant with the upcoming project. In the town of Amsterdam, they're not allowed to have combined sewer. They have municipally separated storm sewer. In other words, their drainage, parking lots, storm gutters along the road, storm catch basins, roof leaders in the, for the shopping areas. That has to be separated, can't go into the sanitary sewer within the town and then to us. Previously, there have been instances where we've noticed what engineers refer to as wet weather spikes, where their average daily flow would go from 400,000 and spike in a matter of minutes to 1 million, and then drop back down sharply. That's indicative of a catch basin or a parking lot drain or something that's connected directly to it, right? What this agreement, one of the key points in this agreement also addresses that by saying that when we discuss the agreement every 2 years, or if they wish to negotiate with the city for additional capacity, if more than 15% of their flow can be attributed to wet weather flow, then they need to, we're not gonna give them any more capacity until they go out and find those unauthorized connections. The agreement also requires that within 2 years, they will identify, they'll conduct a study within the town to identify, we know there's gotta be a couple that are out there. And they've committed to doing a complete I&I study, infiltration and inflow, where they'll basically test all those drains in all the major areas and verify where they drain to. And lastly, and there was one other point I was gonna make and I just lost it. Thank you.
So I think the bottom line in this agreement is that it really is a partnership agreement. And what it does is it promotes development in the town. It lets them grow and gives them a sewer solution. We had 4 or 5 concerns, right, Mike? And you addressed each and
Yes.
every one of them, and you're happy with it. Louise, you're happy with it. So it was a good negotiations. We're happy it's completed, and thank Anthony and Louise and Mike for the great job. Zach, they did an outstanding job putting this together.
I have 2 more questions. So for the taxpayer in the town of Amsterdam, no change, right? The 1.5%. So they won't see, okay, but they'll have improvements to their maintenance and things like that. And then when someone in the town wishes to be added to the city, like say that, which has happened in the
Previously,
past,
right.
they would go to the town and try to get added to that new district.
Wildcat
And we
district.
wouldn't have to make that
We wouldn't have to
decision.
worry about it. We wouldn't have to
Okay.
worry about the bills.
Because, voting on that for someone
Correct.
who's not a constituent, like,
Correct.
puts us in a weird place. Yeah,
No, it
Okay.
was a big advantage.
yeah, definitely.
Any more
Okay.
questions?
Good. Resolution 2627-15, resolution transferring funds for DPW HVAC repair. Alderman Marcel.
The first whereas clause says it all. The bus garage air conditioning unit has failed, and therefore, to repair it is $63,645, and they're gonna get a brand new $120,000 BTU unit. That's it.
We'll be able to use that on our new building?
Well, this is for the bus garage that we now use for DPW.
Right.
The other building currently has excellent air conditioning due to the holes in the roof, but,
We're gonna keep the bus garage as is and build something new? Is that what the goal is?
long term, I think that is the goal, yes.
Yeah, so we're keeping the bus garage long term. Got it. That's good.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Resolution 26-27-16, resolution authorizing, approving the audit. The audit is fine. Any questions? No? Okay. And we have 2 consents. We have 26-27-17, resolution declaring the improvement project of the soccer field at Veterans Park a type 2 action for the purpose of secret review. Kelly.
Okay, I just saw this now that it's sponsored by Alderman Holliday originally, who couldn't be here tonight, but looks like we put in a consolidated funding application to the state for a New York Kicks grant for the soccer field at Veterans Park. And I do know that that needs a lot of repair and overall improvement. So it looks like this is just the first
Yeah,
step.
the Kicks grant goes in at the end of this month. It's almost ready to go.
Great.
And another thing about this is they are not going to play there again this fall, but they are going to play in the Little Giants field. So it's going to be a really nice accommodation for the soccer team to be able to go to the soccer league to be able to play on that field. The Little Giants, the junior Rams started this weekend. I'm sure you all saw.
Has the school district made improvements to that Barkley field? Is that,
It's in great shape.
yeah,
Yeah,
interesting,
and we're leasing it from the school district.
Right.
So, and we are getting involved in fixing a building that was really badly in bad shape. But the point being is that the soccer league will have a home field there this year. And this grant will kick in time for the field to be renovated by next year. And so we should have a really good situation. Both the junior Rams and the new soccer league officers, which include Mr. Holliday, are doing a great job getting those two associations in good shape.
Resolution 26,
no, yeah,
Resolution 2627-18 consent. Approving the memorandum of agreement between the City of Amsterdam, Amsterdam Professional Firefighters Union Local 2825, and employee SB. Would you like to speak?
I have an employee who's injured, who is running out of sick time, sick leave, because he has less than a year on the job. This is just a small thing to keep him getting a paycheck. He's going to the doctor. It's very, not a lot of time. We're talking at all, maybe 100 hours, maybe 150. That was it.
I have a question.
Sure.
This is is this an amendment to the contract?
No.
Then why is it a memorandum of agreement? Why is it a memorandum of agreement?
I didn't participate in this, Jimmy, I don't know.
Well, this sounds
Should it
like,
be
this sounds
understanding?
like this is a amendment.
Jimmy, we did the same thing with the police
Yeah,
department.
but I don't have a problem with it,
No,
it's
I
just
know.
the wording.
Is it a MOU maybe?
should it be an MOU instead of an MOA?
You just have a problem with the terminology.
That's all. I don't have a problem giving the individual the money. It's just that the terminology here is not what it's supposed to be. That's all.
Okay.
Should we change it to MOU?
Well, I would wait
And this
till
is
you get a
basically,
reason why you
this is an
wrote it this way.
amendment. That's all this is.
Okay.
It should be like an amendment to the contract, but
Did
whatever
the
one.
firefighters union write it? Their lawyer?
No, this came from Kim and Brian Goldberger. Kim Brownlee and Brian
This
Goldberger.
is the same template that was used 8 months ago
Yeah.
for when it was done in the police state. But I can check if it should be an MOU instead of an MOA.
It probably is, okay?
MOU?
As long as,
Like I said, I don't have a problem with it.
I've got an email from Ms. Brumley late in the afternoon indicating that she reviewed this matter with Attorney Goldberger and that he had approved it. To that end, I would just
Okay.
recommend the council approve the resolution.
That's fine, all right?
Any other questions or comments from the council? We have a few minutes, 10 minutes.
Mike, you want to do your engineering report?
Sure, thank you. Hey, everybody, that's my report. We talked about the intermunicipal agreement that's proposed before you. Complete Streets project, which you may be familiar with some part or all of it, and we've been talking about it for a long time. We have a bid opening this Friday at 11 a.m. And it's expected to take off from there as quickly as possible. When I say quickly, I mean it still needs to go. There'll need to be a review of the bids from the Department of Transportation. So there's still a process once we open the bids.
don't see an app for that.
Uh-oh,
You'll need to
what
download
is
one.
that?
See, your voice changed all.
Street paving continues. Well, it's gonna be, they haven't started paving yet. My understanding is it's still a week away at this point. In the meantime, they're trying to wrap up all the, handicap accessible sidewalk corners. Directly related to this, National Grid is, working feverishly on Northampton to replace the gas main and install a new medium pressure line. Their target date is the beginning of October to have that complete. My plan is to come in right behind them and pave essentially a mile of Northampton from Guy Park through to the Route 30 connection, up the upper part of Market Street. It's not healing itself, it's not getting any better, so I'm optimistic that timing is gonna work out. Wastewater treatment plant that you're sick of hearing about from me, we're now at 100% design. We've had design approval from DEC. As soon as we have our updated draft Speedy's discharge permit, we will go to advertise for bids. It's just the whole permit is just a verification that our design is adequate, that nothing changed with the effluent limits, because that's what the whole game is with wastewater treatment. I mentioned our permit fees last week. That was our last meeting. That was at the end of June, and I believe we're well above that $230,000 amount at this point for 2026, calendar year 2026. I expect to advertise very shortly for the lead service line replacements that are funded through the CDBG grant. We did get comments back from Home and Community Renewal, and that is, we're just addressing those. And that will, hopefully next week I can put that out. If you recall, it was last month. You folks did me, passed a resolution authorizing us to bid for that. The Broadway Hill, I expect to have that open by the end of this week. Sewers in, backfilling and everything. Final, may close it for part of the day again to pave that short stretch, but it'll be open to traffic by the end of the week. And lastly, I hope to have the south side boardwalk splash pad turned on by either Thursday night or Friday morning.
My kids are available.
I'm gonna be the first one, and that's all I have. Always happy to take questions.
Stacy, would you like this?
Sure. So the numbers that I'm going to give to you are for the month of June. On the clerk's office, our office printed 133 birth certificates this year, which was one less than last year. Death certificates, 89, which was one more than last year. Dog licenses, we had 44 of those, which were 2 less than last year. And marriage certificates, there were 13, which were 12 less than last year. There were 38 new births in the city of Amsterdam in June. There were only 12 deaths, so I was excited. At one point, we did call a local funeral parlor and say, we haven't gotten a death in 10 days. Can you confirm? And they said, oh, nope, not in the city. So we did our due diligence to make sure everything was working correctly and that we were being notified if there was one. 11 of the 44 dog licenses were new licenses, and there were 8 couples who came in for marriage licenses in the month of June. We processed 93 FOILs. 22 of those were accident reports, 45 were police incidents, 24 were property inquiries, and 2 were miscellaneous. I notarized 32 documents, and there were 38 handicap placards that we handed out. 36 of those were permanent and 2 were temporary. And the FOIL process has been going wonderfully. We're getting them out quicker. There hasn't been a lot of pushback. We've entered, out of those 93, we probably entered 5 of those manually. So people are very willing. They love the new system. They're getting them quicker. So, yes.
Okay, a few more minutes. Anyone like to talk about anything?
Louise's?
Okay.
Louise's?
I'm sorry,
Louise?
Louise, you can.
Okay, the controller's report that I passed out is more or less a preliminary look at our year-end results from 25-26. We are still posting activity. There is revenue that is still coming in. There are expenditures that are still going out. And that'll be the case for a few more weeks at least, and probably till beginning of September. But this is just an opportunity to see sort of where we stand as of right now. But like I said, things are still going up and down. Our contingencies, we did actually drain our contingencies in 2 of our funds. 3 of our funds, we ended the year with, substantial amounts remaining. But I guess that's really it. Any questions?
Okay, why don't we stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Here.
Alderman Holliday. Alderwoman Collins. Here. Alderman Carpenter. Alderman Marticello.
Here,
Motion to adopt the agenda.
A motion to adopt the agenda. We have 5 resolutions and 2 consents. Call the roll.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderman Marticello.
aye,
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Okay, we have no proclamations this evening and no communications and presentations, so it's the time of the meeting where the public's invited to approach the podium. If you'd like to speak to the council, you can do so now. You have a 5-minute time limit. State your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Teresa Monroe, and I'm a resident of the city of Amsterdam. I'm also a lawyer. I wrote you all a letter. I sent it to Corporation Counsel, Mr. Santarski, and every council member about 2 ordinances that you passed, I believe last November. I'm not actually sure when they were passed, but chapter number 156 and 226. They are both registration requirements. One is the vacant building registration requirement that requires every owner of an allegedly vacant property to register with a corporation from Ohio. It's not actually authorized to do business in New York State. They never registered. I don't know if you ever looked that up. I did. They're not. But anyway, apparently they get 60% of the registration fee. The city gets 40% of the registration fee. And if a resident doesn't pay it within 30 days, it escalates. So for the vacancy fee, it's $1,500 after 30 days, and that's re-levied onto their taxes. As I outlined in much more detail in the letter, that's illegal under New York law. You need enabling legislation to re-levy a fee on to taxes. Same thing with the corporation. A corporation or an LLC owns property in the city of Amsterdam. Chapter 156 purports to make them register with Muni Reg. It's Ohio Corporation, has simple database operation on the internet, and they have to pay $50 for the privilege of registering an agent with the city of Amsterdam. And again, 60% of that fee goes to Muni Reg, 40% goes to the city, and if they don't pay that, then 30 days later, it's a $500 fee, and that gets re-levied onto their taxes. Again, not actually legal, but you need enabling legislation to do that. And it's funny because the city of Amsterdam is uniquely situated to know that fees like that are illegal, because and Mr. Marticello, who I know has been on the council a long time, may actually remember this. The city got sued back in, 25 years ago by the utility companies because the city tried to impose a street opening fee. Every time somebody opened a utility opened the streets to put in, to maintain their lines, the city tried to impose a per foot fee. The utilities sued, the court sided with utilities. They said fees like that are in addition to what you're actually already paying for in your general taxes. If something like paving a street is a quintessentially municipal project, it's going to be paid for in your general taxes. You can't pick out select people and say, oh, but you have to pay more for that. It's just not allowed. And the same thing goes for these two ordinances. They are purportedly authorized by public safety measures. Well, public safety couldn't be more quintessentially a municipal service that's supposed to be provided through your general taxes. So, you can read the case. It's Bell Telephone versus the City of Amsterdam. So, but finally, the main thing is that you're not allowed to third party your collection of fees and taxes. You can't have a third party like MuniReg and contract with them. The state controller has many opinions. He's issued many opinions to other municipalities saying that there's actually statutory authority and there's case law, all of which says you can't do it. You can't outsource that. You have an elected controller. It's the controller that can collect taxes and fees. And the thing is, MuniReg is going from town to town, to city in New York State, and they're selling this to city and town officials, saying what a great deal. And it is a great deal for them, because when you get sued, which you're likely to get an Article 78 or a class action, because these are really onerous fees. You could send people into tax foreclosure or even mortgage foreclosure because these fees are so huge and the escalating fees are enormous. And they're annual, so they could get a $1,500 annual problem. But MuniReg isn't going to get, they don't have to follow municipal law. The city does. But they've talked city after city into violating municipal law. The city gets sued. You're going to owe 100% of those fees. You only got 40%. MuniReg doesn't have to pay that back to you because you're contractually obligated to give it to them for their service of this online database. You're not the only municipality that they've done this to. They just did it in Rotterdam, or they purported to. They haven't actually finalized it. But they're selling you a bill of goods, and it's bad for the City of Amsterdam. It's bad for city taxpayers. And I really urge you, before you end up having to pay back all this, that you rescind these two ordinances. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak to the city?
I don't want to beat a horse to death. It surprises me that so few people are here. There are at least 4 other business people that have discussed this with, many of us have been discussing this, and it seems that these 2 mandates that came to us by mail are concerned. Several of us that run businesses here. It seems like the city hall works in a vacuum. We don't broadcast these meetings. Very few people are coming. There's a terrific apathy. We don't have a newspaper or a radio station. Our elected officials don't have board meetings, so we get this mandate by mail, and we have little cluster meetings and discuss our concerns with it. I want to commend the Monroe Law Firm for the brilliant research job they did on these fees and the illegal nature of these fees and the role of the collection agency, MuniReg. I'm hopeful that a full review of this matter by our city attorney, members of the council, will result in reversal of this levy. Thank you for your concern, your review of this document, and for thinking of us that care about Amsterdam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Take a different approach. I bought the former Elwood Museum, 300 Guy Park from the school district. At the time, there was a bidding war there was 3-4 meetings, price kept on ratcheting up. And I argued that, I was going to suddenly make a non-taxable property a taxable property. And the lawyer at the time for the school district argued that the board members could not take that into account at all. That paying property taxes it was strictly cash for cash. And the board members, I had, New York case law was completely different than that. And so the school district, said, well, how can that, the board members said, how can that be? How can, our corporate counsel argue that we can't take that into account, and you're saying, and the law says a different way. Well, lawyers aren't perfect in every single aspect of the law. What I outlined for you through the whole law firm is that, muni reg is illegal, and you're going at, when the time comes that my bill gets added to my next year's tax bill, I'm going to sue. And so, why not look at it now? And then what I'm saying is that the board members who may have thought previously, Irene, Kelly, and Mr. Marticello, that was a good deal, should rethink it and, act now before there's actually have to be a lawsuit. Getting back to the Elwood Museum, they did vote for it. Oddly, the corporate counsel then had a point to make to say you could only consider the school tax portion of the bill and not collectively. And yet the school is part, students go to, from the city go to school there. The buses travel on city roads, the fire department and the police department responds to it. It's all one big community. My point being is that the total taxes for that building is $17,000. Times that by 14 years that I've owned it, it's by far a better deal for the city or the school to have sold it to me than to boot as a non-taxable property. I get Christmas cards from the neighbors saying, thanks for enhancing our property, our values of our homes. They look terrific. But lawyers make opinions, and we think it's law. I think this was really wrong. It should be corrected, and it should happen, kind of ASAP. There's legal deficiencies to both the property owners, non-resident law, and the vacancy building, and they're numerous. There's nothing wrong with saying that the issue is more complex than originally thought, and you should withdraw your support, the 3 older people that originally voted for it. And that's my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else from the public wish to speak? Okay, thank you very much. Here on to the clerk, we did the controller, we did the engineer, for old business, on to new business.
Resolution number 2627-12, resolution adopting minutes from last common council meeting by Alderwoman Collins.
So moved.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Resolution number 2627-13, resolution authorizing interfund loans for the CHIPS program by Alderman Marticello. Whereas the city of Amsterdam is often required to cover the cost of project expenses that will subsequently be reimbursed by grant funds. Whereas the city has been in the practice of issuing bond anticipation notes to cover the upfront cost of large grant-funded projects. Whereas at times the city has adequate cash flow to allow short-term interfund loans as an alternative to issuing bonds, especially for low-cost projects. General municipal law allows for interfund loans if approved in the same manner as prescribed by general, special, or local law for making budgetary transfers between appropriations.
So moved. Any questions? Call the roll, please.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quista Mars.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins. Alderman Carpenter. Resolution number 2627-14, resolution authorizing intermunicipal agreement with Town of Amsterdam for sewer service by Alderman Carpenter. Whereas the Town of Amsterdam owns and operates a sanitary sewer system in the town, and this sewer system is connected and discharges wastewater to a system owned and operated in the city, which ultimately provides treatment of said wastewater. And whereas the subject intermunicipal agreement is being entered into by the Town of Amsterdam and the City of Amsterdam pursuant to Article 5-G of the General Municipal and relates to the terms of sewer service between the City of Amsterdam and the Town of Amsterdam for a duration of 10 years, subject to renewal, and with provisions providing for a collective review of agreement not less than every 2 years. And whereas the subject intermunicipal agreement relates to the construction and financing of sewer system improvements, sewer districts and service area, gallonage allocation, measuring, sampling, and testing, billing of sewer charges, and terms and operational control. And whereas a copy of the subject intermunicipal agreement being attached hereto, now therefore be it hereby resolved that the above referenced intermunicipal agreement with the Town of Amsterdam is hereby authorized.
So moved. Any questions? Call the roll, please.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quista Mars.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Resolution number 2627-15, resolution transferring funds for the DPW HVAC repair by Alderman Marticello. Whereas the HVAC system at the DPW bus garage has failed, the existing air handler and condenser unit needs to be removed from the roof and replaced with a new 120,000 BTU unit at a cost of $63,654.95.
So moved. Any questions? Call the roll, please.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quista Mars.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter. Resolution number 2627-16, resolution approving audit by Alderwoman Collins.
Call the roll.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quista Mars.
Aye.
Resolution number 2627-17, consent. Resolution declaring the improvement project of the soccer field at Veterans Park a type 2 action for purposes of a secret review by Alderwoman Quista Mars. Whereas the City of Amsterdam has submitted a consolidated funding application to the New York State Department of State through the New York Kicks grant for the improvement of the soccer field at Veterans Park. And whereas the improvement project involves the upgrading and replacing of existing soccer fields and consistent with the routine maintenance and rehabilitation. And whereas 6 NYCRR 617.5C of the SECRA regulations identifies action that do not require further environmental review, including maintenance or repair involving no substantial changes in an existing structure or facility, replacement, rehabilitation, or reconstruction of a structure or facility in kind on the same site.
You can just skip to the resolved.
Now therefore be it resolved that the City of Amsterdam finds that the proposed improvement project at the soccer field at Veterans Park and the New York State Department of State Consolidated Funding Application, New York Kicks, is a type 2 action under 6 NYCRR 617.5C and thus exempt from the additional environmental review under SECRA.
So moved. Any discussion? You can call the roll.
Alderwoman Quista Mars.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter. Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Resolution 2627-18, consent. Resolution approving memorandum of agreement between the City of Amsterdam, Amsterdam Professional Firefighters Union, and Local 2825 and Employee SB by Alderwoman Collins. Whereas the City of Amsterdam, hereafter City, and the Amsterdam Professional Firefighters Local Union Local 2825 are parties to a collective bargaining agreement which expires June 30th, 2029.
Can you go to the third whereas and then to the result?
Whereas the parties have reached a memorandum of agreement setting forth the terms of such a sick leave donation program, a copy of which is attached hereto, and now therefore here be it hereby resolved that the attached memorandum of agreement dated, which will be filled in between and the City of Amsterdam and the Amsterdam Professional Firefighters Union Local 2825 and an employee SB are hereby approved by the Amsterdam Common Council.
So moved. Any questions? Call the roll.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter. Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye. Okay, motion to end the meeting. Call the roll.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
The